Thank you for this opportunity to make a presentation to you all. I'm actually dialing in to make this presentation from old Europe, where it's pitch dark outside. It's 8 o'clock in the evening. I hope you all have a very good day and at least sunnier than I have at this point. So I'm a dentist by profession. I've been in the industry, the implant industry, for about 30 years now. Started out and have worked in the US actually for 10 years for Noble Biocare, and in Canada and in Europe. And for the past 8 years, I've been working with the DESS company out of Spain. And as you know, it's a company that specializes in multi-platform prosthetics, and the benefits of that is something that I will try to focus on today, and how to possibly transform the use of DESS into something that can make profit, and even more profit in your dental laboratory business. So, and as Fran said, I'll be happy to take questions at the end. So I'll quickly go through the presentation here, and hopefully we'll trigger some questions with you. So let's see here, get the technique to work. Profitability is, or profit rather, there's a difference between profit and profitability. Profit is of course the, whatever is left when you have your deducted all of your costs from your income. And profitability is more of a, I would say, a measure of the effectiveness in the processes and cost control and so on in your laboratory. And those are, the revenue side and the cost side is something I will focus on during this particular presentation. And we'll see here. So increasing the revenue, there are many factors in the market that points to the laboratories, important role in consulting and advising the dentists in both treatment choices and of course component choices. And I think that's one of the areas that I would like to focus on and discuss tonight, or today, I would say. Cost side is of course the easiest one. But we should never say that cost is the same as price. There are many other aspects to the cost inside a dental laboratory. Before we go into this, let's look at some other facts and market trends that I think are very interesting to look at. First of all, if you look at the dental laboratory market, there are about 6,000 to 7,000 labs in the US, and actually about 50% of them are digitized in one way or the other. 30% of implants, or 30% of the income or the revenue in a laboratory are today coming from implant treatments. So it's pretty significant source of income for the laboratories. But here comes some very interesting statistics that we've obtained as well. That 70 to 80% of all abutment purchases are actually done by the laboratory. So you are very influential in not only buying the products that are particularly or special to the laboratory treatment, but many times the dentists leave it up to the laboratory as well to choose the correct components. And as a matter of fact, about 40% of the dentists, only 40% of the dentists are deciding on what components to use. In other words, 60% of the dentists are actually leaving it up to the laboratory to decide, both the laboratory components and the clinical components. And I would say also for the dental laboratories, there are a lot of changes on the regulatory and compliance side that makes it perhaps easier to make choices also when it comes to componentry and dealing with companies that have all of the, that are compliant with the new regulations, especially when it comes to the digital workflow. When it comes to the dentist, as you know, the GP segment is growing very fast when it comes to dental implants, and GPs doing both the surgery and the prosthetic side of implant dentistry. We also, and DESS is definitely benefiting from this, see a much higher acceptance of multi-platform prosthetics, and that's what I call the company that I'm, the DESS company. It's a multi-platform company where we provide prosthetics for all of the different implant systems in the market. We see a very fast adaptation to intraoral scanners and the ability to use a digital workflow. I would say also that the GP segment is a little bit more price conscious and normally offer a lower treatment price than the specialists. And they are also more inclined to use what we would today call value brands. So the other implant systems that have a different price point than the premium ones. Also, when it comes to the treatments, we see about 55 to 60% are single tooth treatments that are coming. 15% are multiple implant treatments and denture attachments of some kind, whether it's fixed full prosthesis or overdentures, is also a pretty significant number. We see a very strong trend towards or back towards screw retain treatments, and it's gaining a share of the overall treatments at the expense of cement retained treatments. And of course, the use of CAD/CAM or hybrid solutions with tie bases and so on, and CAD designed final prosthetics is something that's growing very fast as well. And I would say that in all of this, the main conclusion, I think, is also that, and something which is a good takeaway on this, is that the dental technician is a very important influencer and a treatment coach for the dentist. So that's something that I think will benefit. To take that role will benefit you a lot in the future. And I will give you a very concrete example of what we have seen. The multi-unit treatments consists of a clinical abutment, a multi-unit abutment that can be straight or can be angled. And then, of course, you have a ton of prosthetic components going on top. That could be the screw, temporaries, or castables, or tie bases, or in our case, the angle base as well, even an overdenture treatment type of an attachment. So you have a situation where you have a clinical component and then you have a laboratory component. And statistically, in 2020, we sold 6 times as many of the prosthetic components as we did the clinical components. And the main reason for that is, of course, that the laboratories, we are primarily selling to the laboratories, and they are the ones that provide or can choose to use the prosthetic components on top. So the 6-to-1 ratio is something that we felt that we needed to do something about. So we put a lot of effort in 2021 to increase activities in the clinic channel to try to influence and convince the dentist to choose the DESS multi-unit abutment as well. We did that with mailings and we gave tools and brochures to the laboratories to try to influence the dentists that they were working with. We also introduced the DESS components very early on in treatment planning software, for example, so that the DESS components could be chosen already at that point. At the end of the year, we actually had influenced the use, so we had lowered the ratio, and this means, of course, that we had tripled tripled the use of multi-unit abutments by focusing on the clinic channel, and not least because of what the laboratories themselves did to influence their dentists, because they know exactly who are sending them multi-unit cases and all on 4 cases, and it's very easy for the laboratory and the technician to actually call up those dentists and say, have you considered using DESS multi-unit abutments as well? So that's something gives evidence to the fact that you have an ability, or the laboratory definitely has an ability to influence the dentists. Other, I would say, components for the clinic channel or for the clinics that we provide is maybe good for you to know as well. What they all have in common is that they are chosen by the dentist very early on in the treatment planning or treatment process. So the more they know about DESS availability, the better, the higher the likelihood that they can choose DESS products. Of course, one of the main benefits is, of course, that there is a price and some technical advantages as well that we will go into a little bit later in the presentation. So all of those things, I would say, work towards the ability for you to leverage your knowledge and your, I would say, confidence in the DESS products, and you have the ability to spread the information to your dentist and your customers. We have a ton of different brochures dealing with different treatments, as well as the full catalog. Those are all available for you to communicate, use to communicate with your dentists. And DESS and your Zahn as your component provider will always back you up with support and advice when needed. It's a good idea to familiarize yourself with the complete assortment, even the clinical products, not only the laboratory components. And as I said, don't underestimate your ability to influence your dentist and be the advisor. I think, especially, taking into consideration the statistics that I went through with you a little bit earlier. And educate them about their choices, distribute DESS catalogs and brochures, possibly link to social media and so on. There are tons of things that you can do to do that. Hopefully, everything working towards retaining or gaining new customers and retaining them by being the perfect partner to your dentists. So that's the one side of the equation of increasing profit or increasing profitability in your practice. The other one is, of course, reduction of cost, which we will focus on now. One very easy aspect of that is, of course, the price performance. That's the easiest and most concrete way of reducing cost, is by choosing components that are costing less than the OEM equivalent. But there are other aspects to this as well. There are time savings that you can do due to the fact that you with one call away, or you can order components for many different connections and alternatives that you of course see in your laboratory. The advantage, of course, of the one-stop shopping aspect. But there are also other time-saving features in the DESS product line, and I will go through a few of them later on here today. So price performance, there are significant time savings, or so say price savings that you can do on all of the laboratory products. And this is just a table that shows you some of the cost savings that you can do and your dentist can do on many of the products that they are using on a daily basis, both the abutments, as I said, the laboratory products. With compared to the OEM products, you can do savings up to 50%, which is of course significant. But there are also another aspect to this, and that's we have in our assortment many of the solutions that the OEMs do not have. We have the assortment of tie bases and the varieties of tie bases, both indexing and non-indexing varieties of that. We have the new C base, which is CEREC compatible tie base that comes also with different gingival heights, which is unique product in comparison to the OEMs. We have a new product called the Ellipti base, which is a elliptic tie base basically that you use, which has a narrow, is more narrow in the mesiodistal area and makes it possible to use in very narrow interdental spaces. And as you probably know, we have a very strong assortment in the angled screw channel solutions through the angled base. So those are components and solutions that you won't find with the OEMs, which makes it even more valuable to use. And of course, we're coming into the digital area with a lot of pre-mills that can be used for customized solutions. And all of this is, as you probably know, backed up with a lifetime warranty. Lifetime warranty means that we replace all of the DESS products if there should be something problematic with it. We also have a third-party warranty on the implant if that I think is also very unique. I mentioned to you earlier about the compliance situation. We have full compliance and follow the FDA regulations very carefully, and so you should all feel extremely safe using the DESS products because of that. We also have, so let's go into more of the other cost savings aspect. One-stop shop advantage, of course, no need to order and stock products from many different suppliers. I think that will save you time, that will save you money, because you don't need to build up a lot of different stock from different suppliers. Zahn has a huge, large US inventory, and the availability of products is very high, and delivery percentage is extremely high. Should there be any products that are not in stock, we can deliver overnight to the US and to Zahn for distribution to you directly. So that's one thing that we pride ourselves in having, the assortment, the huge assortment we have, very much available, and especially in the US. At present time, we have 18 different connections that are FDA compliant, plus of course the full assortment of multi-units and DESS lock, which is our equivalent to the locator. And with those connections, I think we cover at least 80% of the different connections and implants that are currently available in the US. And of course, through the collaboration with Zahn, you have access to customer service and advice from their product specialists, and that is of course extremely important. You should also know that it's possible for you to enter the DESSdental.com a global website of DESS where you can download product catalogs and brochures and not least the libraries for your CAM software available for both 3Shape, ExoCAD, and of course dental wings. So time savings is a cost saving factor, but then we have time saving product features, and I very quickly will go through them here for you. You can read much more about these in your catalog. Specifically for laboratories, of course, the scanning abutments that are made out of titanium. They now also come zirconia nitride coated, so which makes them more visible on an X-ray for the dentist. They are also without a set screw, or there is a set screw, but it's built into the actual scanning abutment. We have a new screwdriver tip that combines the advantage with a straight screw and a conical screw seat, so that you can actually lift your screw with it and not lose the ability to tighten it properly to the selective torque. Our analogs have the same color coding as the OEMs, which makes it easier. They now also come with a set screw at the bottom for digital models, but the original non-screw variety is actually can be used both in stone and in printed models. Another extremely time-saving feature is, of course, the select grip, which is a sandblasting of the chimney on the tie bases and the orum base, which increases the cement retention about 5 times compared to a regular machine surface. And I know that in many laboratories using other types of tie bases that are machined, you have to do this type of sandblasting manually, which is time consuming, and it's also there's also a risk that you actually damage the fit surface of the tie base. There are some very clever interlocking and change features of our DESS holder for the pre-mills that also saves time in the laboratory. The other products that I would like to mention to you are more related to the clinics or the dentists. We have, of course, the tie bases, which comes in variety of different gingival heights. I mentioned to you the elliptic base that can be used in narrow interdental spaces. The orum base, which is a clever design that gives you a lot of freedom to angle exactly in to the degree you want, both when it comes to angling off the channel, but also make the exit of the channel exactly in the point you want. C-base, as I mentioned, is a relatively new product for the C-base system, and the multi-units that has some clever solutions as well that are time-saving for the dentist. And then last but not least, the DESS lock, which is the equivalent of a locator system, and it has a surface coating of zirconia nitride that is harder. First of all, the surface is harder. It's also bacteria resistant, or the biofilm of bacteria is less likely to attach to the zirconia nitride. and with that, it's easier to clean and for the patients to keep clean as well. So a lot of time savings and features that will actually help your dentist, help you to save time, save cost in your daily practice. Okay. To make this equation as positive as possible, I would say that the key takeaway from this short presentation is that you shouldn't underestimate your ability to influence and give added value to the dentists. As our the statistics that I'm referring to indicates, they listen, they let you decide, and use that to influence them both for product quality and for cost savings in the clinic. I think that's a very important point. Cost is not only price. Don't forget that time savings of product features is also needs to be calculated with, and the one-stop shop advantages, of course, is another cost-saving aspect of that DESS will lead to. I would say the DESS and Zahn assortment and cooperation in this makes the availability of the entire assortment very, very high. And add to that the warranty and the service and the support you can get, and I think you will benefit a lot from using DESS in the future. So that is basically the end of my presentation. Thank you, everyone. I hope we can get some questions from you.
Yes, Hans, we have quite a few. Thank you so much for your presentation. So the first one is, you mentioned about third-party warranty for implants. How exactly does this work?
Okay. As you probably know, a lot of the companies have warranty on their implants, and but it comes with the requirement that you use not only the implant but also the OEM abutments and components going on top. What we offer is the possibility to get compensation for the implant if the OEM company refuses to honor the warranty if the dentist has actually used prosthetic. So that means basically if we get to know that a warranty has been refused and a DESS product is involved, we will pay for the cost of the implant cash. That's the third-party warranty.
Excellent. Next question is, if I want to make a mailing to my dentist from the lab informing them about DESS, what brochure do you recommend?
Well, a couple of things I would you know, if we go back to the multi-unit example that I have, I mean, there is a good multi-unit brochure that you can use in providing that information, because you know exactly which dentists are using multi-units. So if you have a case with multi-units and you use DESS on top, ask them if they have heard about this, send them the brochure, and see if you can recommend them to use the DESS product the next time if they are using an OEM. The same goes for the other some of the other products like the DESS lock. And the tie basis is different because that's a product that you probably choose on your own, but the multi-unit and the DESS lock for sure.
Okay, the next question is, why does DESS not sell angle base TI bases with 2mm and 3mm color heights? They do exist, but are not for sale by DESS. Why is that?
Okay, so that's a good question. And basically, what happened if you raise the gingival heights or the collar height of the angle base, you also have to make the screw longer. And the consequence of that is that you can't angle it as much. So it's everything is a compromise from a geometric perspective. So the longer your angle base abutment is, the less you can angle the screw. It's as simple as that. So we try to make it as low as possible to make the angle as wide as possible and give the dentist more, or the lab more flexibility in angling the screw.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, could you please go over Implant Direct and Zimmer compatibility charts?
Oh, so okay, in the case of Implant Direct, they are in themselves compatible with some of the OEMs, as if I'm not completely mistaken. So that if they, if I'm not completely wrong, they have a like a tri-channel, so type of connection, which would be compatible with our equivalent. When it comes to Zimmer, it's the same thing. We have a full assortment of Zimmer compatible, both the external and the internal hex. I would say a chart. I would say if Zahn would be so kind to send out the actual brochure, the DESS catalog, then it will be much to this particular person who's asking this question. That would be good.
Sounds good. We can definitely have this attendee reach out.
I hope that answered the question anyway, but
yeah.
Okay.
No, that's fine. That we have, you know, your Zahn representative would be more than happy to give you that information. Please reach out for sure, and they'd be able to help you through the compatibility and interchangeability of the DESS components for sure.